Hi, I'm Brian King, and today, on today's Winning Wednesday, I want to talk about something that I call the power of we could. Let me explain. I have to start by telling you a little bit of history. My wife and I come from very different backgrounds and experiences. She was into uh, band and drama and speech and debate and forensics. She literally has trophies on competitive talking. Maybe that should have been a red flag, I don't know. Me, I came from a different experience. I was really good at science and math and chemistry and physics and English. I enjoyed. I even read most of the books that were assigned to us. Um, the classes that gave me the most trouble, though, were French, because they made you talk, and speech, because I was not confident, I was shy, and those were the two classes that were really hard for me. So we were kind of set up when we got married for some differences there, because her vocabulary and vocal skills are up here. Mine are down here, nothing wrong with them. I could speak intelligently, but we were not at the same level. And that caused a great deal of trouble when we were first married, because we would have to make decisions, especially when we were building our house. There were like thousands of decisions that needed to be made. And, the only way to make them was to discuss them, come to an agreement, and then do it. Well, I would present ideas, and she would start brainstorming them out loud. I brainstorm quietly, come up with like 3 points to offer, and I'd get my first point out there, and it would be shot down right away and killed. It'd be dead there laying on the floor, and I still have 2 more points to get out, and it just was causing a whole lot of friction. Now, I would feel horribly disrespected, and I would raise my voice, get angry, or the other thing I would do was just say, no, we're not going to talk about this now. I'm out of here. And apparently, for some reason, both of those reactions that I had made her feel unloved. And like I was angry with her when it was really just the situation I was angry with. So it sounds so small, but it was horrible. It's the only time that my wife ever considered going home to mother. And it's about the same time when I got so frustrated that I started punching holes in the sheetrock that I had just put up. It was just so frustrating. We couldn't make decisions. Well, fortunately, and I'm not sure how I came up with it, but we sat down and I said, honey, I just need my thoughts and opinions heard and my ideas given a chance to live before you shoot them down. And I basically said, when I have an idea or when I say something, can you just, hear it and say, we could? Now, the reason she was trying to be, brainstorming out loud and trying to make decisions, because she felt if I got my idea out and it was good, that I wouldn't hear her idea and that everything would end up being the way I wanted it. And I was feeling like you never hear my ideas and it's all going to be your way. So it was really just, we couldn't communicate. But when we started doing that, and sometimes I would even have to cue her and say, yeah, right, but we could, right? And she'd say, oh, yeah. And that would kind of be her cue to know that she needs to tone it down a little bit, because she would get really intense. And then I would have to bring up my level a little bit, but then would meet in the middle and would sync, and it would work. And before that, it's like we were grinding gears, like, this just isn't working. This is so hard. It's just hard to communicate. And for me, it was pushing me away because I felt horribly disrespected. She felt horribly unloved. And we really needed this in order to get our marriage back on track. If we hadn't done this, I don't know where we would have ended up. But now we can talk about anything. And that's one of the reasons when I present an idea, I'll hear her say, "We could." And I'm like, yeah, she's actually considering it. Even though she's got a better idea. We both have good ideas. It's just coming to a decision and feeling heard and being respectful. I was able to add, by prompting her with the "we coulds." Sometimes I would even say something totally outrageous and then say, "We could," right? Like, we could just sell the house and move to Africa, right? And she's like, yeah, we could. You're right, we could. And it would just kind of diffuse the whole situation. Now, it sounds small, but just that little thing that helped us improve our communication skills in our marriage caused us to win. We have used that for years, and it has improved our marriage so much. It's improved our communication. It's improved how we get along. And if I start feeling disrespected or run over because she's brainstorming out loud and I think I don't have any input, then all I have to do is kind of bring it back to, yeah, right, we could, right? And she'll get the hint, bring it down. We work really well when we're in sync. And when we're out of sync, it's horrible. It feels like we're losing. It feels like, this could be over. And it makes it seem like, the marriage is so fragile when really it's not. But that's how it felt when we were basically grinding gears instead of meshing and being in sync. Once you're in sync, and sometimes it takes a little work, sometimes we've got to sit down and work through some things, but now we can talk about finances. We can talk about sex. We can talk about whatever is the issue of the day. We can talk about the children. We can talk about anything once you're in sync. So, I don't know if that makes any sense, but I hope it does, because for us, that really was a win for our marriage. Hope you have some wins too, and you could make it happen. Think about it. Sit down. I had to sit down. We had to have a real conversation, and we had to add this to our marriage. But it caused a huge win. I hope you get some wins too. See you next week. Thanks for listening.